So I am Regina Spain. I am the executive director here at Interstage Right. I am also the director of Romeo and Juliet that we are doing right now.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene.
So I decided to do Romeo and Juliet finally. We've been doing Shakespeare since 2009 with our festival first, and now since we opened up the Citadel stage, our Will in the Water Summer Shakespeare has moved into full productions as opposed to the vignettes that we used to do for the festival. And we did vignettes several times of Romeo and Juliet when we were doing our festival. This is the first time that we have done the production of it. And I think that it took me so long probably because of this weird thing that I have in my head about how society sees this show as opposed to how I see it and how I read the script, and as opposed to the, oh, he's my Romeo type of thing, where there is that love and that passion and everything. It's a tragedy. It's called The Tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, and the language is gorgeous, and the combat is amazing in our show. So, and knowing that we had the combat choreographers and the combat people to do it, as well as a few people that can portray the proper ages of Romeo and Juliet, which Juliet is not quite 14. She's about 20 some days away from being 14. And so I had an 18-year-old that can portray that age. And so, and we got very fortunate with our Romeo that he's not far behind at 19, which Romeo, there's a little bit of play in how old he is. So just as long as he's young. And so since we had the teenagers to do it, I just thought, let's go ahead and do this.
Great hearing being in this night that this is all but a dream, too flattering sweet to be substantial.
But to be frank and give it thee again, and yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea, my love as deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are endless.
So as a tragedy, it is kind of emphasizing where everything goes wrong. The decisions at every point along the story that makes it a tragedy as opposed to a simple love story. So you have, right off the bat, you have two feuding families, and you have a young man that his name is Romeo because he's a player. And so he starts the show out completely in love and heartsick over Rosaline and how devastating it is that she will not be with him and everything. And so he starts out like that, and his cousin Benvolio then says, hey, let's go to this feast. You can see Rosaline, but also check out the other girls, because you may have been seeing her and only her, but once you see other beauties, your mind is gonna open up, and it might not be this girl that you think. And so of course he goes to the feast and looking for Rosaline, looking for her, and ooh, who's that beautiful woman? And so, which of course is Juliet. And so so that turn on the dime is the first thing, but just a series of misconnections that happen between the friar and Friar Lawrence and Friar John, where a letter doesn't get sent, and just all the little miscommunications. You have the Paris storyline in there. You have the overall feuding families of the Capulets and Montagues, and the prince that is trying to put their foot into it to make sure it doesn't happen anymore. And of course, the prince loses two kinsmen, loses spoiler alerts, 400-year-old spoiler alerts. But so the prince loses both Mercutio and Paris within the storyline of this. And so for a prince to lose their own kin because two other families are warring and feuding, and then to have what they consider to be mercy to banish instead of kill Romeo when he loses a kinsman as well. It is this thought of mercy could have overcome this story. Mm-hmm. And if the two families had not continued their feud even after this happened, then these two young people, along with a bunch of other people, would not have had to die.
Where be these enemies? Capulet, Montague! See what a scourge is laid upon your hate, that heaven finds means to kill your joys with love. I, for winking at your discord too, have lost a brace of kinsmen.
And the prince even says, the prince has a line about that there was a I forget exactly what the line is. The prince has a line about how their joys were killed by love because these two were so much in love that they couldn't be apart, and so it kind of used, they used your feud, to break up that feud. Love is what killed your feud. And so then connecting at the end and trying to get these two families back together so that it doesn't happen again.